we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound. He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound. Lord, show me the way through the jungle. I look to God, lead me down the right path. He picks me up if I slip or if I stumble. Said, my child, don't worry, I got your back. He said his only son is a gift to us. Then the gift taught us how to give, showed us how to live. It's wild, we can kick it with God, my best friend from the start to the end. Wow, I think it's wild all the time that he spent with me. Now I can spend the same time with you. I sure can. We can make it through the wild, hand in hand. Need a friend, well I got a few. Come on. Greater is he that lives in me. Root of all good, won't ever leave. Help me out the maze, need you every single day. Right now, lead me to the truth. He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound. He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound. Alright, we gon' see how good y'all are and following directions. I need y'all to repeat after me. Love the Lord your God with all your heart. Love the Lord your God with all your soul. Love the Lord your God with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your strength. Come on, come on. It's the wild life. It's the wild life. It's the wild life. It's the wild life. He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound. He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound.
God created me just the way that I am. The way that I am. Oh, no, no. And I can't follow Jesus with all that I am. I can use my gifts and share my story. Spending time with others shows I care. I can grow my faith and understanding. When I talk to God, He hears my prayer. I know there's more to me than meets the eye. And I may not be perfect, that's alright. I know that God loves me, that is not a mystery. 'Cause we're now starting to do great things. Everybody, we are on the case. Let's chase the clues and solve the mystery. Everybody, we are on the case. Oh, oh, oh.
Yo, Mars, let's get it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. God in my heart, got my hands up to heaven. Been set apart, got joy in my lungs. Smile so wide, now it's time for some fun. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. Dance like David, ain't afraid of Goliath. Fast like Daniel, don't play with the lions. Dress real clean, cool coat like Joseph. Slave of the land, set him free like Moses. Like Moses, I'm chosen. Yeah, I once was afraid, heartbroken. I was crashing like a wave in the ocean, till I was saved by the word that was spoken. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. God in my heart, got my hands up to heaven. Been set apart, got joy in my lungs. Smile so wide, now it's time for some fun. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. My amigo, that's my hero. Made it on the cross, no free throw. Going so 100, no 0. Feeling so alive, hands up, wave them high. Clap, clap, clap 3 times. Take 2 steps up, then slide to the right. If you need a friend, you got one in Christ. Take 2 steps back, then jump real high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. God in my heart, got my hands up to heaven. Been set apart, got joy in my lungs. Smile so wide, now it's time for some fun. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. If you need a friend, you got one in Christ. Skirt.
All right, what is
Hi,
up,
friends.
everybody? Welcome to the Steal Our Strategy live unboxing event for Grow Curriculum Volume 8. We are so excited you guys are here.
Yay! Yes, and like Kenny said, there are 2 things we're doing today, friends. First of all, we are going to tell you the whole strategy behind Grow Curriculum. So if you use Grow Curriculum, this will be helpful to you. But if you don't use it, we still want this to be helpful for you. That's why it is called Steal Our Strategy. You can just have it for free. That's the whole thing.
Yes,
That's why we're here.
You do not need Grow Curriculum
No.
to pull this off in your ministry, but you will see it will be a lot easier if you have Grow. But
Yeah.
hey, if you want to do it yourself and create everything and run
Go.
with it,
Be
do
blessed.
it. We want
Do
to
it.
help you make that happen.
Yes, yes. So that's the plan today, friends. And also, we are actually live, as you may or may not know. So please feel free to leave comments, leave questions, because we are going to do Q&A at the end as well. And we would love to answer questions that you've got. So
Yes.
jump in there.
So we're planning on being here for an hour. Obviously, it would take way more than an hour to talk about an entire strategy for your kids ministry or youth ministry. So we're going to kind of, run through these slides. We're going to give you the slides afterwards. So if you did register ahead of time, we will email you all of the slides of this presentation. You will
And
get
this
the
video.
replay. Yep, the replay will be here on Facebook and on YouTube and on this website. And so if you want to, actually, let's just show you right now, you can go and download the ministry assessment. So if you've already registered, we've been sending emails the last couple of weeks with the link to this assessment, and you can go to growcurriculum.org/SOS. And that will get you to the page where this video is live and where you can download the ministry assessment. And so I'll tell them how this ministry assessment kind of goes with what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so basically throughout this video that we're going to be doing today, we're going to walk you through 7 different areas where your ministry needs a strategy. And this evaluation guide, this little assessment, is just going to help you start to think through, like, what are the areas where I'm doing a really good job? What are the areas where I'm like, I think it's working, but I'm not really sure? And what are the areas where you're like, this is broken, I do need some assistance? Like for us, there was definitely a point in time where we were like in ministry, oh, our volunteer culture is a mess. Like, we might be good at these certain things, but volunteers, terrible. So that's what this assessment is meant to do, is just to help you find the spots where, like, you could kind of lean in and figure out ways to, like, improve all of the things that you're already doing. So that's what that's for.
And we're going to talk about all those different areas today. And you can download this at growcurriculum.org/SOS for Steal Our Strategy.
Or help if you need it.
Yeah,
Whatever.
right. Okay, well, let's just dive right in. So
yeah, should we tell the people who we are?
Yeah,
Kenny?
let's introduce ourselves. If you don't know who we are Kenny and Elle Campbell. We are the founders of Stuff You Can Use in Grow Curriculum.
Married, not siblings. That is
That's
a
right.
common question. And yeah,
good point. Good point.
People like to know. They like to know who they're talking to here. So we just put this little. This is like a visual representation of the important parts of our biography. So we were youth pastors at actually my home church in Buffalo, New York. We were focused on middle school ministry specifically, but we kind of dabbled in some other stuff like high school and like even like marriage ministry, which was funny because I was like 20 at the time and doing marriage ministry. Why? No, I don't know. But that's where we really got our start. And while we were there in ministry, Kenny, talk about launching Stuff You Can Use.
Yeah, so we were there for almost 10 years running the middle school ministry. And while we were there, we thought, hey, it'd be fun to share the stuff we're creating. So we were creating a lot of stuff for our own ministry, like volunteer training resources, all the different series,
like
the events, the games.
Tutorial on how to make a giant
we
Angry
did giant
Birds.
Angry Birds.
That
If you
was fun.
remember, if you're like an OG Stuff You Can Use follower, then you remember the giant Angry Birds. That was like the first thing that we launched with. But so we started creating all this stuff and we thought, hey, it'd be fun to put it on a website. We bought the domain Stuff You Can Use and the rest is history. We've been creating resources for churches and partnering with other people. Now we have a staff here at Stuff You Can Use of about 20 something full-time people. Oh shoot. Once I jump off of this. Yeah, I know. And actually this is the first time we're going live on YouTube. So hello to all of our YouTube friends out there. And we're live on Facebook. Hello to our Facebook friends.
Okay, look at all these friends.
Yeah, so we've got 20 something people, maybe 30 on the core full-time team at Stuff You Can Use, or at least core members if they're not full-time. Some of them are like bivocational and still work as church leaders at their churches. Some of them are full-time in both areas, or full-time with us and volunteer at their church as ministry leaders. And so we love working with these people, and they are the ones who create all of the resources that go into the strategy that we're going to be unpacking today. So not only are we going to be walking you through the strategy, but today is launch day for volume 8 of Grow Curriculum. So we have a brand new year of curriculum, kids ministry curriculum, youth ministry curriculum, volunteer training, family resources, events, discipleship activities. We're going to show you all of it today. So let's keep powering through. So we wanted to tell you that we were church leaders and we work with church leaders. Our whole team is full of church leaders because we've been there before. We know the pressure, and it is a pressure. I mean, some of you guys are running multiple programs a week. So, it's bad enough.
And overseeing multiple age groups.
Right.
Also kind of being like the tech person and also the church communications person. Guys, kids and youth ministry folks, we get it. We just get asked to do
every week. You have to put on a whole new production. You have to, figure out, you have to do a live band every week. If you're doing live music, you have to put together teaching every week. You're probably doing some kind of games or entertainment or something fun. You are like basically a party planner, a mentor to kids and students, an event coordinator,
how do we do this?
Maybe a musician. Yeah, you do everything. So we know the pressure of being in ministry, which is why it is helpful to partner with other people who are doing the same thing as you. So, we know the pressure of when attendance is down. Gosh, we've been there in those Monday morning staff meetings and you're going through the numbers.
Okay, reading the numbers out loud.
Oh my gosh,
it's so embarrassing.
Down. If kids or teenagers in your ministry, it just feels like they're not growing in their faith. Like that is frustrating. There's definitely,
or they don't care about what you're
there.
Teaching about. That's
oh my gosh, this next one, volunteers not showing up. Now this was a huge problem for me because when I was first a middle school pastor, I loved worship. I was the worship leader. I loved it. I loved hosting the games. I loved doing the message and speaking. But what I was really bad at was like actually developing volunteers or connecting with parents because I was so young in ministry. I just didn't have that experience or that like maturity to do those things well. So we know and have lived the pressure of having to be all of these different things, just one
Yeah.
person trying to be all of these different things,
And parents
trying
are
to
constantly mad at you also. That's
Yeah,
another fun part
exactly.
of ministry.
Yeah, parents don't care. Right, exactly. So what we did when we were creating Grow Curriculum, and this was 7 years ago, we're on volume 8 right now. The first thing we wanted to do was to send an email, send a message out to everybody who we were connected with on our email list or following us on Facebook, and just ask them, what is your biggest struggle in ministry? We really wanted to hear from the church leaders out there who were doing the work, which would inform kind of, okay, how can we help create a resource that will meet the needs of the struggles that church leaders are actually facing?
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we thought was like really interesting with this question that we asked is like, the things that you guys said was primarily having to do with growth. You actually use that word in a ton of different ways. So you talked about like feeling this pressure to grow your attendance numbers, to like make sure kids and teenagers were actually spiritually growing. You wanted to grow your volunteer team. You wanted to grow your parent engagement, like all this stuff. And as we were like reading your responses, it was just like, this is so interesting because everybody is still struggling in like certain areas, in different areas. And it's not like the resources for this stuff don't exist, you know, like curriculum exists. There's like discipleship resources that exist. So like, what's the problem? Why does everybody seem like they're still struggling? And the thing that we just thought through, like, okay, if we were to sit down with everybody who we were emailing with, like, what would we say? And the thing that we just kept coming back to is like, we all need like a holistic strategy for our entire ministry. Because like Kenny was saying, you know, he loved what happened on Sunday mornings, but like let all the volunteer stuff slide. And I think we all kind of have that tendency to focus on the things that like either we're naturally good at or just they're the parts of ministry we really like. And what we wanted to do is to create kind of a holistic strategy for ministry that allowed all like us to have just different strategies of our ministry that all like worked together. So that's why we ended up creating Grow.
Yeah. So basically what we did was we identified 7 core areas of ministry that we all need a plan and a strategy to keep our ministries healthy. And like what we didn't want to do was create like quick fixes. Like, oh, my attendance is down. Okay, give away an Xbox at your next event.
No.
That'll get attendance up.
That's not good.
Like that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for like strategies that help sustain health over the long term. And so that's what we tried to provide inside of Grow. So Elle, tell us about the plan. What are we talking about today?
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do, friends. The first thing we're going to talk about is this question of, do you actually have a strategy? I think sometimes we might think we have a strategy, or like maybe somebody has told us like, oh, I love your strategy, but we can't verbalize it. And so what we're going to do today is just start by talking about what it means to have a strategy, what a strategy is, what a strategy isn't, so that we're all working on the same definition of strategy. And then we're actually going to give you our 7 strategies that we've been talking about. And those strategies are broken into 3 areas. The first are, we're going to give you 4 strategies that help kids and teenagers grow: discipleship, teaching, weekly environments, and events. Then we're going to talk about your volunteer strategy and then your parent strategy. And we're also going to talk about the 7th one, which is like your strategy for actually planning and leading your whole ministry. We'll tack that on at the end. And then we'll do some Q&A and we'll show you Grow stuff along the way.
And we're going to try to do this all in an hour. So if it feels like we're rushing, you can ask questions. You know, like if we skip over something that you really wanted more information on or wanted to hear more about, type it into whatever chat you're on. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can ask your questions there. If you're on the Grow Curriculum website watching this live, the best place to submit your questions is probably in Facebook or YouTube. So you're going to want to watch on one of those channels if you want to participate in the Q&A. Yeah. All right. Well, let's keep it rolling.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the first thing. Do you have a strategy? And this is such a conversation that I love because I'm a strategic person. We both are. We love thinking about like, okay, what are the goals that we want to accomplish and how can we actually get there? And so what we usually talk about first is what a strategy is not. Elle, tell us what a strategy isn't.
Yeah, guys, sometimes I think people use the word strategy, but they don't really know exactly what they mean. Sometimes they're like, oh, well, this is my strategy. My strategy is to grow my ministry. You're like, well, that's not a strategy. That's just a goal that you have. It's a dream. Maybe there's like a vision that you have in ministry, like, oh, like, like, oh, I really care about like intergenerational ministry. Like that's awesome, but that is not a strategy. Or like even a philosophy, like, oh, well, I really care about putting kids in small groups so that they have, you know, a small group leader who's investing in them. Or, you know, I really want to like empower parents to like lead at home. Those are all really important things, but they're not strategies yet. Those are all like the goals, the dreams, the visions. What a strategy is that the strategy is the thing that tells you how to accomplish the things that you want to do. So all of those things we just talked about, they're really important because they tell you where you're trying to get to. But the strategy is the piece that tells you how. And so you could think about it this way. If there's no how that is built in, then it's not a strategy.
Right. And like we hear a lot of people talk about strategies, but really what they're talking about are just like goals or like philosophies. Like for instance, like if you love the idea of partnering with parents, right? Like that's a really important thing in ministry is to partner with families and parents. That is like a great philosophy, but then the strategy comes in is like, okay, now how are we actually going to do it? When are we going to do this? Where are we going to do this? And so what we've done is we've actually mapped out all 7 of these strategies on a big calendar. And so when if you ever subscribe to Grow, you will get a deck of cards. Oh, I don't have it. I should have brought them out with me. You'll get a deck of physical cards that you can create a calendar board with and map out your entire strategy, and they're all color coded. So we will walk through this.
Yeah.
But like,
and these are all boards not made by us. These are made by church leaders who are using Grow. That's why they're all different, which is so fun. But even like, I love how people have like totally made it their own, like added their own color schemes. I also, will you go back? Because I love the one in like the top middle because it's so crazy looking. I love it. It's like they had a board that was way too small, but they still made it work. And I just love them.
And like the cool thing about these boards too, is when you create it and when you map out your ministry strategy and you put it like on your wall on a board like this, all color coded, it looks so good. Like when people walk into your office, they look at you different. They're like, wow, you're pretty organized. You have a plan. Like you're taking this seriously. Like when a parent walks in or a volunteer or your boss walks in, they're going to be like, wow, okay, this person cares about what they're doing. They want to do this as excellent as they can. And so, and like, even for yourself, it's encouraging when you walk in, like when I had this on my wall and walked in as a youth pastor, I would know, okay, here's the plan. This month, here's what we're doing. Next month, here's what we're doing. And it just gives you like more confidence than if you were just like doing it all up in your brain or just going month to month without like a fully fledged strategy. So a strategy will tell you what to do. It'll tell you how to do it, and it'll tell you when to do it. Those are all really key important things, right? Like partnering with parents, great idea, great vision, great philosophy. But what are you going to do to partner with parents? How are you going to do it? And when are you going to do it? So that's what the Grow strategy actually unpacks.
And we say that from personal experience because we're like, wait, like we really care about this, but like now what do we do? And then the thing that I would add to what Kenny was just saying too is like a really great strategy is flexible enough to adapt to different contexts. So that's really, really important. And something that we always try to preserve in the stuff that we're creating is that can this be customized in like a small church, a medium-sized church, a big church? Can it be customized in like different like states and different countries, like different contexts? Can this be customized is really, really important, because if it's so rigid that it only works in a certain context, then maybe it's not the right strategy.
Well, and it could be the right strategy for your context. Like when we're creating something, we obviously want to make it customizable because we're serving churches literally in hundreds of denominations, big churches, small churches, churches that are in the city, rural churches, suburban churches. So when we're thinking about our Grow strategy, we do try to make it as flexible and customizable. So whatever context you're in, you can adapt it to it. So these are like big picture principles, and you don't have to do all of these things exactly how we say them. We want you to take these ideas, think about them, look at your own church calendar, look at your own stuff that you're already doing, and figure out how to be healthy and put a strategy in all these 7 different areas of your ministry. All right, let's keep it moving. So your strategy is the plan that gets you to your goal, which is to grow. And we're not just talking about growing numerically.
No, that is such a boring goal.
I mean, that is nice. I mean, we've all been there, like I said, in those Monday morning meetings where you're like, oh, shoot, the numbers are down. But really, when we're talking about the Grow strategy, we want to see kids and teenagers grow spiritually. We want to see parents grow more engaged with your ministry. And we want to see volunteers grow more invested. And the thing is, like, when you have a healthy ministry and your kids and students are feeling good, they're going to be inviting friends. When your parents are engaged, they're going to be telling their friends about your ministry. When your volunteers are invested and love what they do, and they have like a really strong, healthy volunteer culture, they're going to invite their friends to serve too. So all of these things organically lead to growth. If you have a healthy ministry and if you have a strategy that's actually thriving, organic growth a lot of times happens organically because of it.
Yeah. And even if your numbers don't skyrocket, also, like, who cares? Because if you have like a ministry that is truly healthy, where people's lives are being changed and kids are getting discipled, even if you're not seeing numerical growth, like, that is not important.
Yeah. Well, and that's okay. Like up to God, right?
It
so
is.
Like
your
responsibility is to do what you do as excellent as you can, to be as prepared as you can, to execute with as much effectiveness as you can. And then the rest is up to God to figure out, like, okay, is our ministry going to grow? What season are we in? Like, as long as you're faithful with the things that you've been given, I think you'll start to see your ministry grow in these ways and potentially other ways as well. So let's talk about what this strategy actually is.
What is it?
So
let's get to it.
We've been talking about these 7 areas. And so for kids and teenagers, we've got 4 core things, and that's your teaching strategy, your discipleship strategy, your strategy around your environments, like the actual spaces that you're creating for kids and teenagers, and your event strategy.
Yes. And then after we're talking kids and teenagers, we're also going to talk grown-ups. We're going to talk your volunteer strategy, as well as your family strategy and how you are really engaging and serving parents. And then the last way is your annual planning strategy. This is for you as the ministry leader. What does the strategy look like as you are mapping out your whole entire year?
And we're going to show you everything inside of Grow that goes along with these strategies as well. So you can pull them off on your own, or you
steal
can
our ideas, do whatever you want.
Use the resources that come inside of Grow. So, okay, let's talk about discipleship first. Elle, go for it.
Okay. So yeah, if you want to see kids and teenagers grow, and I think we all do, I hope so, we really need to have a discipleship strategy. And, I know for us, like when we would talk about, well, what's our discipleship strategy in our church? We would tend to just default to talking about what we're teaching on like a Sunday morning or a Wednesday night. But those are totally different topics, because what you teach, although it can help support your discipleship strategy, your discipleship is its own thing. And so when we talk about discipleship, here's what we're talking about. Discipleship, first of all, is a lifelong process. It is not something that you can like package into the 4 years of high school, or like we can't just contain it. It's a lifelong process that isn't going to be finished by the time a kid graduates. Discipleship is best done in community. It is not a solo sport. It is something that happens in your church body. So you need the church and the family working together. You need multiple adults working together with kids to impact them, and kids need peers. Like all of those relationships are connected. Discipleship is less about gaining knowledge about Jesus alone and more about following Jesus with our whole lives. So it's super important that your discipleship strategy is bigger and more holistic than just what information about the Bible can I teach to kids.
Yep. And about that too, like we're not talking about Jesus's students, right? They're his disciples. Like there was action, there was activity. And so you'll find in our discipleship strategy, when we show you how we unpack it, it's discipleship activities, the things that your kids and students will actually engage in to help them grow spiritually, not just what they're learning. That's in the teaching strategy.
Yeah. And so the way that we approach discipleship is actually, it can work for all age groups. That's the thing that's really, really important for us. So while we create resources for kids and teenagers primarily, this also works for grownups. So let's go to the next slide here. We've identified 4 spiritual habits that help all of us grow, no matter what age you are, no matter if you have known Jesus for 5 seconds or for 50 years. Like these are the habits that if we put these habits into practice, they will help us grow. And they're also like the outcomes of growth. So when you are growing, you will be doing these things naturally. And the reverse, if you want to grow, start doing these things and it will help you grow.
Yeah. And we actually learned these 4 things, and these are flexible. Your church might have their own discipleship framework, and our like growth strategy can fit within that as well. But these 4 things we've identified based on really our pastor. When we were up in Buffalo, New York at our church serving there, our pastor was getting his doctorate. he was going through his like dissertation and doing his work on spiritual formation, on spiritual growth, and literally was like researching, okay, how do people grow in their faith? What are the activities that lead to spiritual growth? And these were the 4 things that he identified: spending time with God, using your gifts, like being active and actually serving people, spending time with others in community, that's people that are Christians and non-Christians, and engaging and sharing your story and your testimony with other people. So those 4 activities directly, in his research, directly led to spiritual growth, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah. And like Kenny mentioned, you probably have like your own version of these 4 spiritual habits. So like if your church already is using its own language, like use that language. That it's just the concept that really matters here. And yeah, like this is like so common if you think about it. If you look at like different ways of thinking about discipleship, you'll see these themes recurring in different ways. So the question though is, how do you turn this into an actual strategy? Because it's cool in theory, but how does this become a strategy? Once again, this comes back to the how. So how do you actually implement this?
Yeah. And so
go ahead.
Yeah, let me jump in and share. So here's how we do it. We break our calendar into 4 quarters. So a quarter of the time of the year, we're talking about, or we're giving our students activities to spend time with others. That's in the fall. Then in the winter, because in the fall, the reason we strategically placed it there is because that's when kids are starting school for the first time. Maybe they're, coming back from summer vacation and joining your ministry again for a while from a long time ago, or they're brand new. So spending time with others, building that community and those relationships happen naturally in the fall a lot of times. And then you naturally use your gifts like during the holidays, during the winter. You've got like Christmas projects and things. We thought that was a natural quarter for that spiritual activity. And then spending time with God in the spring, because things kind of get in a lull and people are more focused. They're kind of doing their schoolwork, getting ready to graduate, all that kind of stuff.
You've built like a lot of trust at that point throughout the school year, with kids, and especially with teenagers. You've kind of like built this relational equity so that you can go a little bit deeper on more spiritual things.
And then in the summer, we put the share your story, because that's when you go on like missions trips, and maybe you're doing a summer evangelism project in the neighborhood or something like that. So sharing your story, you get opportunities to do that during the summer.
Yeah.
So this is what it looks like. If you want to steal the strategy, you can put your own activities in here. And then these are the ones that are included inside of Grow Curriculum Volume 8. So for Grow Kids and for Grow students, for spending time with each other in community, we've got small group party kits.
I love these.
So those
cute.
are super fun. Just tons of ideas to basically build bonds and friendships and be in community with each other. And then for the spiritual habit of using your gifts, we have a joy drive and a spiritual gifts assessment in Grow Kids and in Grow Students. Then in the fall, we've got a Grow with God experience for kids and Bible journaling pages for students. And then in the summer, we have something called the What's Next Challenge for kids and the What If Project for students. And then you'll see also on the side, we also provide memory verses, daily devotionals for teenagers, devotionals for parents and families. We have a habits app to allow students and people, whoever wants to, track their spiritual habits, and plenty of other stuff. Elle, is there anything about any of these resources you want to mention?
Let's see. Oh, well, one thing I think is interesting, if you look at the winter, because when we're talking about using your gifts, often when we talk about it, we'll talk about knowing and using your gifts, because sometimes that focus can be about actually doing something with your gifts. And so this year in the kids strategy, we're doing the Joy Drive. That one is focused more on like actually using your gifts to serve. So that one is like they're raising funds, they're like collecting donations to give to others. Whereas on the student side, we're focusing more on the knowing your gifts part of it. So that's why we're doing a spiritual gift assessment, because we want to help teenagers figure out like how God has gifted them, so that they can better use those gifts to serve others. So I think that's an interesting little distinguishing thing. But really, I'm just like excited about all of these. I think they're going to be so good.
Yeah. And you can find out more information about these if you start a free trial with Grow. So if you go to growcurriculum.org, sign up for a free trial, and the strategy guide for volume 8 will be in there, and you'll be able to read about each of the resources that we talk about today. We don't really have time to unpack all of them. It's already 28 minutes into the hour, and we got to keep it moving.
We do have like an unboxing video though.
Yeah, and that too. You can go to growcurriculum.org and either go to the kids or the students page and watch the unboxing videos. And we talk about, and those are live right now. So if you go to the Grow website, The unboxing videos are live, and we unpack each and every one of the resources that you see here. So, all right, let's talk about our teaching strategy.
Yes, please.
So here's the thing about teaching strategy. Like we said, different than discipleship. Because discipleship is all about action. Teaching, we're actually trying to give students and kids information and knowledge and teach them about God. So a teaching strategy tells you which topics you're going to teach, when you're going to teach each topic, right? So it's not just which ones, but when. You have to think strategically about all of this, how often you actually repeat, because we know that repetitiveness and consistency is really important, and how to teach in engaging and effective ways. Effective, not infective.
Right. Infective is, that sounds like a disease.
Elle, tell us about these 3 questions.
I would love to. So when it comes to like actually teaching in a way that is effective and engaging, everything we do inside of Grow is structured around these 3 questions. This is both for kids and for teenagers. So the questions are what, so what, and now what. These are not questions we invented. These are like very common structures for teaching people and presenting compelling information.
Doesn't like the TED Talk person who like teaches people how to do TED Talks?
Yeah, he does talk
TED,
about this.
He like says like this is the best way to formulate like a persuasive message.
Yeah, he doesn't really give credit to the people who actually pioneered this though. So there's other
Got
people.
it. Forget that guy. Forget that dude that stole this.
It happens.
So Elle, you're gonna give credit to the pioneers?
I do.
Oh my gosh, Elle's not giving credit to the pioneers either.
Listen,
okay.
I will if you email me, because I have to go remember who they are.
Got her.
Linda Moon knows. Linda Moon's probably in the comments and she can tell you. But anyway, so the concept here is that these 3 questions will help the person who is listening actually take the information that you are giving them and translate it into action. So the question every sermon, every lesson that you give should answer are, first of all, what? Everybody should know what in the world you're talking about. It shouldn't be confusing. Secondly is they should know so what. They should know why it matters. And in the context of church, obviously they should know why it matters to them, but also why it matters to God. And then lastly is now what, which is what should we go do about that now? This is the application piece. And this often is the part that ties in best with your discipleship strategy, because we need to figure out like how to turn what we've learned into action.
And every single lesson in Grow very clearly has these 3 sections in it. So you'll know exactly what you're talking about, so what, and now what in every single lesson plan inside of Grow Kids and Grow Students. So, and you'll see in every single lesson too, an engaging teaching strategy includes a variety of ways to engage your audience. And so we actually build these in, and we actually have built a drag and drop lesson builder and editor inside of Grow. It's really
cute and fun.
Yeah, it's super fun to use. And it's all color coded like this. So stories, images, videos, questions, object lessons, activities, discussion, prayer, reflection, response, music, polls. All of these different elements are built into the lessons, not all of them in every single lesson, but a variety of them every lesson to create engaging messages and lesson plans for your kids and students, because we don't just want to be like boring and do the same thing every week, right? We need a variety of ways, because, and even different kids learn differently, and they like, some people really are engaged with stories. Some people just want the facts. Some people really love time of reflection. Some people don't want that at all. They want to hear a song and the lyrics speak to them. So there's different ways you can communicate the lesson and the message you're trying to get across. And we strategically inside of Grow build it into every lesson plan. And we encourage you, if you're writing your own lessons, think about these things. We call them actually building blocks inside of the Grow lesson builder. And what building blocks are you using? Are they the same ones every week?
Yeah.
Does your color code look exactly the same every week?
Do you always make blue and green talks? Try putting in some purple and pink.
Exactly. So, all right, let's take a look at the lessons, the series that are inside of Grow. So this is Grow Kids Volume 8.
They're so cute.
And we have an amazing graphic designer on our team. Shout out to Caitlin, who helps facilitate all of the graphics that you see. And every single lesson in Grow Kids, we have elementary and preschool. It's almost like 2 curriculums. They have the same. It is in fact 2 curriculums. Well, they have the same like title and imagery, but the lessons for each of them are different and like tailored. I mean, they're obviously like the same ideas, but tailored to the different age groups. There's a 3-year scope and sequence. You can see that during your free trial with Grow if you're interested, or right on the website. Large group lessons, teaching videos, small group guides. We're so excited actually about our new teaching videos. We have these new elementary teaching videos. You can preview those. They're brand new. Yeah, those are exciting. Coloring pages, printables, devotionals, hacks for toddlers and preteens and kids, bumper videos and graphics, so much stuff. We try to pack out everything you need to run a weekly program and do your teaching in your ministry.
We do drive our project manager, Kyle, a little crazy because he's like, do we have to provide all of these things? And we say, yes, we do.
We do it for the people. And these are all the series for Grow students. So completely different topics and lessons, but like the discipleship strategy is aligned. So if you do use Grow kids and Grow students in your ministry, there is alignment on the strategies, but sometimes the content is age specific. So it's going to be different. So for Grow students, we give you middle school and high school curriculum and hacks for each age group. We do a topical scope and sequence, and we talk about different books of the Bible, character studies, topical studies. We kind of mix it up. Large group lessons and lesson outlines, discussion guides like small group questions, 1-minute sermon videos that you can use on social media, printable handouts, devotionals for parents, hacks for high schoolers, middle schoolers, kids with disabilities, bumper videos, graphics, so much stuff. And all of these, you can preview them on the Grow website. You can do the Grow free trial and look more into each of these lessons if you're interested. But take the topics that you want to talk about, come up with a plan, put them on your calendar, and all of these are like strategically placed on the calendar under the specific discipleship activity that makes sense for them. So like if it's an evangelism series, it's going to go during the summer because that's when we're doing the discipleship activity of sharing your story, right? So everything like aligns that way. So if you look at your calendar, you can see the alignment, and it just makes you more like focused and effective as a ministry leader.
Yeah, and we actually have a really detailed walkthrough of how to build one of those boards that we'll share the link to that afterward if you want to do like a deep dive on how to actually do that. But now we're going to talk our environments strategy. So after we kind of did like the heavy stuff up front, we did discipleship, we did teaching. Those are like the bulk, obviously, of what we're doing when it comes to helping kids and teenagers grow. But your environment strategy is really, really important too. And so a great environment strategy can do a lot of things for you. It can make sure that kids and teenagers feel welcome. It can make sure everybody's having fun, and meaning everybody and not just like the extroverted kids, but hopefully everybody. And make sure everybody is physically safe. You know, this ties into like your policies and procedures and your screening. This is part of your environment strategy. And also making sure everybody can have like an emotionally safe place to open up, to share, to grow. And so when we're talking about things like making like fun decor or playing fun games or like offering like really good snacks, it's not just because we want to like entertain children. You guys know this. It is because all of those things add up to creating an environment where kids feel safe and where they feel welcome and where they feel loved. And all of those things allow them to open up so that we can have like a more effective conversation with them. So
yeah, you have fun with kids and you build an environment they feel safe and comfortable in, and it allows you to more easily have spiritual conversations and important conversations.
Because you have a relationship then.
And also environment that is safe for kids builds trust with parents. An environment where volunteers feel valued builds trust and engagement with your volunteers. So there's so much that your environment actually does help. Sometimes we just skip over it and we don't think about our environment that much, but it is really important to create an environment where people feel welcome and safe.
Yeah. And so that comes down to like the details of things like your room design and decor, the fun and games that you plan, the music that you play, the food that you offer, but literally it's anything that can help a kid feel welcome, feel safe, and feel loved. And so there's some of those things that, you know, for Grow that we can do for you. There's a lot we can't. But the things that we can do, we try to do for you. So you can see here, these are some examples of like our environment guides that we provide. And we give you one of these for every single series. And they're just full of ideas and suggestions in those categories we just gave you. So you can see if you look closely, there's like room design images on that student one. You can kind of see we give you like an idea of how to decorate your room. On the kid side, we have like big props. We have little giveaways and just ways to decorate your space to kind of reinforce what you're teaching. And that's the other thing with an environment strategy is that it should ideally reinforce the things that you're teaching and not just be random, but like help the visuals and like the ideas of what you're teaching them really take root and make more sense and become more concrete.
All right, let's talk event strategy. So, an event strategy for your ministry. Well, without an event strategy, it is easy to waste time and resources. If you don't have a strategy and you're just like doing random events
Are you guilty
or
of this,
anything,
Kenny?
oh my
Are you
gosh,
guilty?
of course,
Guilty.
So many times, right? When you don't plan ahead, like things actually, like time gets wasted and resources get wasted. That just is what happens. That's why it's like really important to be planned and prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, overburden families with too many commitments. We actually had to specifically at our church bring all of the ministry leaders together and put every single thing that we're asking people to do on a calendar at one time just to look at it. And we're like, oh, we're asking parents, to go to the men's ministry thing and the women's ministry.
They have to be at church every
multiple
day.
times a week and bring their kids to this thing and go to this devotional Bible study thing and go to this special event, and serve in these. We can overwhelm the people in our ministry so easily. That's why it's so important, like not only in your own ministry to think about, okay, how can we do the least amount of events for the most effectiveness? That's actually part of our strategy, is the least amount of events for the most effectiveness without, being a burden on families to try to, ask them to be at a million places. Because if your ministry is doing that, every ministry in your church is also doing that. And it's easy to burn people out.
Yes.
And that's the next one. Burn out yourself or your team, or have so many events that they lose their effectiveness.
And have your different ministries fighting with each other internally because you all want to use the same room at the same time. Guys, it's a stress.
Exactly. It is. So an event strategy tells you which events are most important and important to do and why you do them, when and how often you do certain events, how to make each event impactful for kids and teenagers, and how to plan each event effectively and resourcefully. So, and every event's going to have different goals, right? There might be one event that is geared towards building community with people. And that might be the discipleship activity for that quarter. And the event you want to do is just really a fellowship, a community building event. And then during another time of year, let's say it's use your gifts, the event might be a service project. So it is really important. We actually filter everything we do through our discipleship strategy, because ultimately discipleship is the core of spiritual growth. So everything you do needs to be filtered through that. And your event strategy is not one of those things that doesn't go through that filter. That goes through that filter as well. So let's take a look at the events that we do and grow, and we'll kind of walk you through these.
And I'll just say the formula is very simple. It's one event per quarter. That's it. But then, everybody always kind of packs some extra stuff in on the summer. So if you do that, that's okay. So on the kid side, maybe you add a VBS. And on the student side, maybe you add a summer camp and a mission trip. And that's it. Keeping it simple. 4.
Yep. So you'll see we've got 4 quarters worth of events here. And then on the very end for kids, that's our VBS set sail. We have free VBS if you guys are interested in a free VBS. I was actually driving down the road last week and saw a big set sail banner. There's a church down the road that's doing set sail. So that was fun to see. And then in students, you see our 4 quarterly events. And then we have mission trip at the end there and a summer camp at the end there. So summers, more events happen. People are doing all sorts of stuff. But during the school year, we really recommend one event per quarter, just to give your families some breathing room so you're not doing too much all the time. But like I said, we've got fun stuff for the fall. We've got service project related stuff in the winter. We've got things in the spring that are more spiritual
Eastery.
growth. Yeah, they're more spending time with God type of events. And then in the summer, they're fun,
weird
or they're
fun
evangelism, a missions trip kind of thing, or a VBS kind of thing. So these are the events. Any events here? I mean, we got this Thriftmas party for students.
I'm excited. Okay, I know not everybody likes to do all-nighters, but you can also take the all-nighter. It's the Level Up all-nighter. It's video game themed, but like real life-size video games, but you can always take that and you can modify it to just be a half-nighter or just a slightly longer than usual event. But
all of these are so fun. I mean, Double Dare looks amazing. Ready, Set, Race looks amazing.
Race is going to be so cute.
Mary Mini Golf. I mean, that's super
Yes.
fun to do in your ministry. Step into the Game. I don't even know that one. What
well, it's
is
gonna
that
be
one about?
well, okay, so kids and students at the same time are like doing life-size versions of games, but kids are doing like life-size board games and students are doing life-size
Love
video
it.
games.
Love it.
It's gonna be
So
cute.
fun. All right, let's keep it moving. So
Okay.
that's what your event strategy can look like. And you can see more about that if you want to look at our strategy during the free trial of Grow or at the Grow website. You can download the strategy guide, which will walk you through all the different areas of Grow with a little more information than we can unpack here. Okay, it is 43 after. We've got 2 more areas plus ourselves we're going to hit real quick. And that's grown-ups, volunteers,
That's us,
and
guys.
families. So your volunteer strategy, and we're just going to rifle through this so we can save some time for questions and answers. Yeah. So a volunteer strategy helps you better recruit and onboard the volunteers that you need for your ministry, train, equip, and care. All of the things you need to be doing those. Like I know when I was a ministry leader, I was not doing those, especially early in my career.
Kenny's reading this slide to himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have
to do that.
spending more time focusing on training and equipping and caring for my volunteers.
That's right.
We need to retain the volunteers that we have, right? If it's hard,
or at least
recruit,
we want to retain the ones we want to retain.
Yeah, right,
is the important part, and why I wrote it that way.
And this is where like I really started having fun, is creating a culture where volunteers love to serve. That's like one of the things I love to do as a ministry leader, is create environments that students love to be at, create a culture where volunteers love to serve, create an environment where families felt like it was a safe place to drop their kids off and they were in good hands. And so let's talk about families first.
Yeah.
Or wait, did I just skip over?
No, you didn't. You're doing great.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You're right on track.
Family. So we're going to look at, I was waiting for the resources to pop up. We're going to look at all the resources at the same time for families and volunteers. Elle, go ahead. You can take this one away.
Okay. So yeah, a family strategy is really important. And by the way, when we are talking about parents at any point, just know that we are always talking about parents and caregivers, because a lot of the times in your ministry, you guys know this, the people who are parenting kids are not always necessarily their parents. They're often like in different kinds of caregiving environments, whether that is a grandparent or they might be in foster care. There's a lot of different types of family structures that are going on. So just know when we say parent, it's a loose term. But so the reason you need a family strategy is because having a strategy for this is going to help you actually build trust and buy-in with parents and caregivers. We all know this is important because, oh my goodness, when parents don't trust you, it is not fun for anybody at all, including the parents. It's going to help you train and actually care for the parents in your ministry. It's going to help you empower parents to disciple their kids at home. And it's going to help you create a culture where families are supported, where they feel supported, and where they are, in fact, supported with the resources and help and all the things that they need. So let's talk about how to do this.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so there's 7 areas that we've identified that actually work for both parents and volunteers, families and volunteers. And so that's doing events, that's having meetings, parent and volunteer meetings, different ones, discussion groups for both groups, one-on-one conversations with both groups. You have to communicate to both through email or social media or texting, or however you do it. We've got specific tools that are helpful for each set of these adults, and then celebrate them. We have volunteer celebrations and parent celebrations included in Grow. And so we'll walk you through a little bit about each of those. So Elle, this is the events.
Yeah.
So this year in the volunteer and family events, what do we have? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, so every year in Grow, we actually give you the same core events because, like we need some consistency and structure here for families and volunteers. With your volunteers, there's really only one event that we recommend doing every year, and that is just your kickoff in the beginning of the school year. So we always give you a volunteer kickoff, but like with new graphics and like little fun stuff to go with it. And then on the family side, these are kind of our 4 core events we recommend doing every year. There's one is a move up day. That's mostly for kids, when they're kind of moving into that new grade level. That's often a big idea or a big deal for them. So move up day. Open house. This is like a time for you to welcome new families and also just get anybody who's moving up into your ministry for the first time a look at your ministry's like philosophy and strategy. So we give you everything you need to make that happen. Then there's the parent and small group leader breakfast. We love this event, are obsessed. We did this in our church, and it was like the single greatest thing that we did for both our volunteer and our parent culture, because literally all it is you're getting small group leaders and the parents of the kids who are in their group together for conversations, and you just facilitate it. And it's so amazing. It's like kind of dumb because you're like, oh yeah, all you have to do is just get them in the same room together. But it was incredibly powerful. We did it at least once a year and loved it. So we'll show you how to do that. And then we also have a parent workshop. We give you a parent workshop every single year. And what this parent workshop does is it walks parents through the discipleship strategy that we walked through with you just a few minutes ago. But then it takes one of those spiritual habits and really emphasizes how you can practice that at home. So this year we're talking about how to share your stories of faith as a family, and getting you just kind of talking about like what you believe and who God is to you as a family, and also outside your family too.
And we are going to be here for as long as it needs. We will wrap this up before the end of the hour, but we'll stick around for questions and answers for longer, as long as you guys want to hang out for.
As long as you're here.
So here we go. Let's take a look at the resources for volunteers and families, and we'll just mention these.
This is all the stuff after events.
Yep. So the tools, these are things like small group leader business cards. These are things like small group leader and volunteer goals.
Yeah, the handbook. We have a volunteer handbook and a parent handbook.
And so there's a whole bunch of different kinds of tools that you can give to parents and volunteers to help them be effective in what they're doing, either in your ministry or at home. Volunteer and parent meetings. We recommend doing these throughout the course of the year. And actually inside of Grow, we have meeting guides around different topics.
They're really good.
So like meeting guides specifically for issues that parents are dealing with. You can go and research what you want to talk to parents about if you want to develop your own strategy, or volunteer meetings. These are things like inside of your ministry you want to have meetings about, or how to do their job more effectively, how to ask good questions, how to facilitate good conversations,
how to handle a crisis. There's like a lot of really important stuff in there.
Volunteer celebrations. We recommend every single month doing something to celebrate your volunteers and doing something to celebrate the families and the parents in your ministry. So this could be something as easy as just sending postcards once a month saying hi to them, but there's like specific holidays we love. Like we love the weird holidays like backwards day, right? So you could write a postcard backwards, and then when you give it to your volunteer or parents, they have to put it in the mirror to read it in reverse.
Guys, it's so dumb, but it's fun.
But like those are little fun things, right? Like you can just give them a thank you card or like a little recognition card, but doing something fun involved with it is just a whole bunch of like a new level of care, a new level of like attention. So anyway, there's a whole bunch of volunteer and parent celebrations and ideas for that. Or
one every month.
You could go and research and do your own. Volunteer discussion groups. These are really cool in parent discussion groups because like in a meeting, you're kind of downloading information to people. In a discussion group, a lot of it is they help themselves and they have conversations about like with each other about what they're doing, either in ministry or at home, or you're asking them questions about your ministry as well. And so you're getting feedback and dialogue that way. Those are really cool. Volunteer and parent conversations. What we talk about here are like one-on-one conversations. So setting up one-on-one conversations with different parents in your ministry, maybe once a week, maybe twice a month, something like that. Just going out for coffee, find a volunteer, find a parent, like set up a coffee date with them or a lunch date and have one-on-one conversations. And then the very last one is volunteer and parent communication. That could be just giving them weekly emails about here's what we're teaching in our ministry this week. Volunteers, hey, here's the small group questions ahead of time. If you help your volunteers be prepared, they're going to be way more effective in your ministry. And if you give parents effective communication every month, they're going to be more engaged with what you're teaching and what you're doing in your ministry. So it's important to have those lines of communication consistent.
And by the way, if you've been a Grow user for a minute, this has actually gotten a lot bigger over the years, like the types of resources we provide. So if you haven't like dipped into this section of your resources in like the last like year or so, you're going to want to do that because we've added a ton of things. And also the one-on-one conversation guides are so good now. Like I love them. I mean, they were good before, but now they're like extra good because they're really hitting very important felt needs. Like when a kid is like misbehaving, how do you lead that conversation? Guys, I don't know how to lead that conversation, but now I do because the team wrote a guide that I can use in the future.
All of these are inside of Grow, and you can check them out in the free trial and preview some of the resources we have there. All right, now let's talk about your planning strategy. So this is like your own personal leadership development and planning, and we provide resources for that inside of Grow as well. And your annual planning strategy, it helps you to turn your ministry goals and vision into a strategy. We all have goals, right? We all have ideas. We all have things we want to accomplish, but we want to help you actually wrap a strategy around those things so you can effectively accomplish them. A strategy in a planning strategy will help make sure you have a strategy in every area of ministry, right? So you're not forgetting anything.
All
like
7 of those areas.
Because guys, we're not good at everything.
No.
We're just not good at everything. Like I am bad at some aspects of ministry, and honestly, so are you. No one's good at everything.
It's okay.
So
just admit it.
That's why
fine.
it's important that like some things come natural. And like, for me, I didn't really have to plan that hard to do certain things.
Like
but
games.
then sometimes, like
games are your spiritual gift.
But then like you don't want to be waiting to the last minute or just hoping that it works when it comes to volunteers and parents and other aspects of your ministry. Anything. To me, the other stuff came easier. Make sure that your strategies support and don't compete with each other internally and other ministries in your church. It's always good to bring other ministry leaders into your planning, or at least after you're like partly through, be like, hey, look at this. Does this like conflict with anything you're doing? We would all the time reach out to like the men's ministry leader and the college ministry leader or the kids ministry leader when we were youth pastors, and just kind of share with them what we're doing and see if there's ways that we could help support their ministries, or if anything we were doing was like a conflict with them.
And like Kenny mentioned earlier, like if you know already that you're going to be doing like a mission experience in the summer, why wouldn't you want to also make your spiritual habit, your discipleship focus for that period of time to be focused on sharing your story? Why wouldn't you want to teach a sermon series that's all about evangelism? It's like when you see all of those things on a board at the same time, you can start to see these connections that you didn't see before. So it's very important.
Like we said earlier, it helps you stay confident. Confidence is so important. It's so easy to get discouraged. It really is. Like sometimes ministry is lonely. Sometimes ministry is discouraging. Sometimes you don't see the results you want. If you have a strategy and a plan, at least you know like, okay, I'm focused. This is what I'm going to try to do. And you don't feel like so much in despair, like you don't have answers. And maybe you're even going to impress your boss.
This is kind of a joke, but it's also kind of true.
And we mentioned the ministry assessment. Now that we've talked through all of the 7 different areas, go download this ministry assessment, take a look at the questions there, and it'll start to reveal some things about your own leadership and your own ministry, of maybe where you need to spend some attention, maybe where you're doing great, maybe where you have some areas for growth. So doing these kind of assessments like once a year is really helpful to kind of give you a clearer picture of the health of your ministry.
And we definitely recommend giving these to like some key volunteers in your ministry as well, people who can give you some honest feedback, because guys, we all have some blind spots.
So you can download this at growcurriculum.org/SOS for Steal Our Strategy. So if you go to growcurriculum.org/SOS, you will be able to download the ministry assessment. And so you can also watch our annual planning videos. It's like 40-minute long videos that we just recorded and published today. They're on YouTube. And you can find them on the Grow website on like the kids ministry page and the youth ministry page. We walk through our entire calendar
in detail.
We go into much more detail, even though this was an hour long. We kind of look at every single resource. We talk about it in depth, and we put it on the calendar and tell you why we're putting it there. So you can go to growcurriculum.org/meeting as well, and you get the entire like meeting guide on that page as well. And the last slide we have for you is to encourage you to go sign up for a free trial. Even if you don't want to purchase Grow, it's really good to at least download the stuff to help you formulate your own strategy. Like when I was a youth pastor, I was getting things from all over the place, right? I was always learning, always trying to figure out how are people doing things? How are they thinking about things? What are they creating? So it's a good opportunity for you to check that out. And if you are interested in purchasing Grow, like we mentioned earlier, Grow Kids and Grow Students, they align on all of these strategies, even though the content for each age group might be different. And you get a 20% discount if you bundle them together. So you could actually start using Grow Curriculum in your ministry today for just $289. And that's like a quarterly subscription. So if you do $289, it's times 4 for the year, or it's $997 for the whole year. Or if you bundle them both, it's 20% off. So I highly encourage you to go check out the free trial, check out Grow Curriculum. We know you're going to love it. Like we showed you earlier, we have a full team of people who are, and plus hundreds of other church leaders from big churches, small churches, big budgets, little budgets, different denominations, different parts of the country, different, contexts, all contributing to Grow. And we really think you're going to like it. And like they inform the strategy, they inform the resources. So everything is kind of viewed through all these different church leaders to make sure that it's useful and helpful for whatever context it's being used in. So those are the slides. We will email those to you, and we're going to take some questions right now. So let's go ahead and Elle, do you have questions?
We have a couple. You want a practical one or you want a philosophical one first?
Hit me, whatever you want. Bring them in.
Okay, we'll do a practical one. Somebody is wondering like the difference between like the tiers of the curriculum options, because we've gone through a bunch of
Got
resources.
it. Technical questions. Yeah. So, okay, let's like talk about the actual product Grow then. So if you want everything inside of Grow, it's everything we just talked about. So that's like the standard tier. That is Grow Kids and Grow Students is all 7 areas. You get resources and strategies for all of them. If you're on a tighter budget for like $597, you can get just the teaching and the discipleship and the events. And so that's
environments.
Environments, that's right. Yeah.
So red, orange, yellow.
There you go. And so those are just like the core things you just need basically for your teaching and discipleship. But if you want the events, the volunteers, the families, which those are so important, that's in the full package. So that's that answers that.
This wasn't a question, but somebody, I think it was Andy. Andy was saying how much he loves the hacks that come with the curriculum. And we didn't even really talk about this much. So I do just want to highlight it really quick because I too love the hacks. So we know that when you are like teaching a room full of kids or a room full of teenagers, there is a lot of there's just a wide spectrum of experiences, of like development. There's a lot going on there. So one thing that we do in the curriculum is every single series comes with a set of hacks to help you customize the content to like different age groups. Because, there is like one approach where it's like, oh, well, every age group is so different. We need to teach them totally different series. And, we did that at times in our ministry as well. But honestly, like for example, if you're a youth pastor and you've got like middle school and high school in the same room, and you don't have like a large enough group to like, you feel like you can split them in half, you're just going to want to teach the same series to all of those kids. So one thing that we do to make that easy is we give you a set of middle school hacks that just kind of says like, hey, if you're talking to middle schoolers only, like these are the parts of the curriculum that we would shift a little bit just to make it more middle schooly. And if you are talking only to high schoolers, here's how you can shift it to like maybe age it up a little bit more. And then we do the same thing in kids world with toddlers, because while we have a preschool curriculum, sometimes, your toddlers still need some adaptation down. So we will do some of that there in the preschool curriculum. And in our elementary curriculum, we age it up to preteens as well. And then across both kids and students, we also have accessibility hacks that are really going to challenge you and kind of teach you new ways to be thinking about the different disabilities that kids might be experiencing in your ministry. Everything from blindness to like developmental delays. There's a lot of things that those hacks cover. And they don't just tell you how to change the curriculum, they actually educate you along the way. So I really love those hacks. If you're not looking at them, take a look. They're so good.
All right. Somebody asked us what the elementary teaching videos look like this year. Is it press play or something new? It is something new and we're really excited. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see if I can play this for you guys. So this is just a quick little preview.
I actually got to try to be a referee in the basketball league at my church. I actually think I was pretty good. That water break was too long, Pastor. 2 foul shots for the other team.
What are you saying?
Nabal, who commits a foul against the wrong person.
So anyway, these are the new videos for kids. They're super fun. They go through every single lesson. We provide 52 teaching videos. You can actually watch a preview in the free trial, or if you're a subscriber to Grow, you will have access to, I think, almost all of the videos. Like they're all being done up front now, which is amazing. So you'll get all of those as soon as you renew to volume 8. But you can see a preview, and if you want more, you can ask us. We're happy. Excuse me. We're happy to give you previews of all the videos if you want to check stuff out. We're super excited about the ones for volume 8, though. They are not cheesy like the press play ones were. They
Just
are.
please
That
don't
was
be so cheesy.
we definitely took a lot of feedback from press play. We aged it up a little bit. We talked about the content, the way we deliver, the style, all that stuff. So we hear you guys. That's another thing about Grow. Every single year, we love creating things that you guys want to use. So we take the feedback and we make improvements every year to the things that we're creating. All right. What other questions do we have, Al?
Let's see. Hold on. I think we have a couple technical questions, but our customer success team is over here answering them all like total champions. Thank you guys.
Did Caitlin and Danny text you any key questions?
I got another one. Actually, let me go back because we touched on this a little bit in the beginning, but there was a question about can like the growth strategy transcend up to adults. And so we did address like the discipleship strategy, how those 4 spiritual habits, those work for any age. Like when we're talking about spending time with God, spending time with others in community, using your gifts, sharing your story, those 4 spiritual habits are the key to discipleship, no matter what your age group is. But in addition to that, there are a lot of churches who use the growth strategy to plan across all age groups. For example, we were just hearing the story of one lead pastor who was like, oh yeah, I decide what to teach my adults based on what I'm already teaching kids and teenagers through Grow. So like one way to do it that we've seen people do it is like they might alternate, like maybe 1 month they're teaching the adults in a way that's aligned with the kids series. And then maybe the next month they're teaching in a way that's aligned with the student series. Lots of ways that you can do it. By the way, for those of you who use the lectionary in your church context, all of our Grow curriculum lessons do align with the lectionary. So if your church is using that to inform what you're teaching adults on a Sunday morning, it's super easy to align your kids and teaching content with that as well. So just a little extra bonus if that's something that your church does. So there you go.
All right. Someone asked about the lessons and like how much time do you actually spend in God's word? Because the curriculum they're using right now doesn't really spend a lot of time in the Bible. And so
I would love to talk about that.
We actually spend a ton of time Elle, go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. So what we do is we always have at least 2 big chunks of scripture that we want to teach from. We don't want to like overload, because if you get too many different passages of scripture, it's kind of a lot for a kid or a teenager to hold in their brains. But we really want this to be like something where kids and teenagers are in fact hearing like dense chunks of scripture and not just, cherry picked verses out of all over the place. So what you'll see in both kids and students is that there's always a primary passage. It's in kids, it's always like typically a narrative story because stories are super important for helping kids learn. And then in students, it is often a narrative story as well, just because the Bible is full of so many stories, but it can also not be narrative based, but there's kind of like a primary passage for both kids and students. And then there's a secondary passage that just enhances what that first one is all about. And then in our student curriculum, we actually add a 3rd passage of scripture every week.
All right, and I'm going to show them a lesson as you're talking. Okay. So here's what a Grow lesson actually looks like. So right off the top, you see we've got the big idea and the Bible verses that are associated with it.
This is a kids one.
Yeah, this is for Grow Kids Elementary. And so, in it, you'll see like we've got the what, so what, now what, but we've got like the activities that kind of lead up. We've got a little poll in here. Boom. Then we go, so what, right into scripture. So we talk about all the scripture
so what
passages.
Section is really your Bible teaching section. So you can kind of think of it that way. It's like your what section is like the setup. Your so what is the meat of the lesson, and then your now what is the application.
And then we go straight into the big idea. We can spend time with God, right? And so then we do a little story about that, an object lesson about that, and then right back into scripture. So we're going into scripture. We're using other elements. And you can see all the different colors here, right? Because we're trying to make this as colorful and fun as possible for the people listening. Because if it was just 100% scripture, it wouldn't be as effective as if you were supplementing it with like things that actually engage the students and the kids
and
you're talking with.
Informed about like how a kid learns at every
like object lessons and stories and videos are so important. We have a time of reflection, so making time for God. So I mean, it is so focused on God and Jesus and scripture. We've got the memory verse every single lesson. And then we end in prayer. So, I mean, each lesson is set up that way. And then we've got the discussion questions that you can do in small groups or however you break up your ministry. And each lesson is like this. And so, to answer your question about, is it like scripture based, like how much scripture is in it? We pack a ton of scripture into it and make sure every lesson is anchored in God's word.
I love that in both kids and students, we actually have you reading scripture together in a small group setting. It's not just like life application questions, although there are plenty of those. We are getting you into scripture in that context.
We have like coloring pages for the kids, or like the memory verse and stuff. Like there's tons of ways that we make sure that we engage. And also with the music that we recommend. Someone asked about Grow Kids music. And so if you were watching the intro to this, we played 4 of our music videos, basically, are like motion videos that you could use. They're lyrics and kind of people doing the motions that you can use in your ministry. And we're going to be making all of those songs. I think we have like a dozen songs right now with lyric videos and kind of like motion videos available. So every single Grow subscriber will get access to all of those. We're just putting the finishing touches on that website right now. And then anyone else can purchase songs if they want to. But if you're a Grow subscriber, they are included in your curriculum. And so you'll be getting, I think, at least like 12 songs that include, and these are brand new. These are like written and produced by Grow, not brand new from Grow's perspective, all of them, because some of them have been in like VBSs in the past. But they're like not remakes of old songs. These are newly written songs that your students or kids have never heard before. And we're providing everything you need, including the instrumental tracks and everything you need to pull them off in your ministry. All right. Any other questions we want to hit?
Yeah, we got a couple more questions. This wasn't actually a question, but I thought of it and wanted to mention it. We have some new devotionals coming out this year for our student subscribers.
Ooh, actually, before you talk about that, let's just give them a little preview again of the videos. Actually, I thought was super fun was that last
God in my heart, got my hands up to heaven. Been set apart, got joy in my lungs. Smile so wide, now it's time for some fun. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. Clap 3 times. Now snap, now snap. Take 2 steps up to the front. Take 2 steps to the back. My amigo, that's my hero. Paid it on the cross, no free throw. Going so 100, no 0. Feeling so alive, hands up, wave them high. Clap, clap, clap 3 times. Take 2 steps up, then slide to the right.
I know that God loves me.
We got all sorts of different like music videos. It's wildlife is come out.
He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory. Presence is all around us. He keeps me safe and sound. He's why we share our story. Jesus, the King of glory.
So anyway, that's just a little preview of some of the songs. They're
cute.
so good. I whenever I hear them, I was like making the countdown video. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love these songs.
Guys, wait till you hear the Christmas song we're gonna release this year. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. Okay. So anyway, I was going to mention these new student devotionals because we've talked a bit about kids a bit more than students. So I want to give students a little moment to shine. We have these really, really fun devotionals that are coming out this year. It's a new like structure and format for us that our team is really jazzed about. Basically what these devotionals are, they're very interactive. Like they're meant to kind of be like, there's like doodles on the page. Like we want kids to like really like be able to like write and like process and stuff through these devotionals. And what they do is they teach you different structures for engaging with God's word. And so this is just going back to how, Bible-based or not we do try to be very Bible-based. So with these devotionals, they teach you things like SOAP, if you're familiar with that. They teach you like Lectio Divina. They teach you like all these different structures for reading scripture and for praying. And then it's going to cycle students through those different like models every day so that they get, they like learn new ways to engage with God's word and like have time with God as they do them. So I'm very excited about those.
Yes. And I want to give a shout out to Ruel and Stacy Pompey. They are the ones who basically help us create all of the teaching videos for Grow Kids, our preschool and elementary videos. They have a production company up in New York. And they do a lot of our music for us too, which is super exciting. So they are just a fantastic partner to us. So I saw Stacy in the comments. Shout out to the Pompeys.
Yeah. Okay, here's 2 easy questions. Somebody wants to know, is co-leader affiliated with Grow? No, I don't know what co-leader
That
is.
is a DYM thing.
Oh, a DYM thing. That's what that is. So no, that is not affiliated with us. Then let's see, where did the other one go? How do we schedule a training with your team to learn how to use Grow better? They said they've had it for a year, but feel like they've only scratched the surface.
Yeah.
What's the answer,
So,
Kenny?
okay, guys, we have a whole team of what we call Grow strategists. These are people on our team. They're church leaders. They use Grow in their ministry, and they are available to help walk you through and have a one-on-one conversation with you or your team to use Grow most effectively. Or if you're not a Grow user, just talk ministry with them. So you can sign up for them at the Grow website. You can just go to growcurriculum.org and just start a chat and say, I want to sign up for a talk with a Grow strategist. Otherwise, I know we are always prompting through emails and things like that, but I think the easiest way is just to do it in the chat. We also, like, on the dashboard, I know in the free trial dashboard, we'll have to add this to the normal dashboard too if it's not there. We just redesigned our dashboard. So if you're a Grow user, you'll see like a new design around the dashboard right now. But there should be a button in there or there will be soon, to schedule a Zoom call with our team. And I think it's probably in there right now, actually. I know on the free trial it definitely is, but probably on the Grow user dashboard as well. Schedule a Zoom call with our team. So you can either start a free trial, you can go to your Grow user dashboard, or just in the chat on the Grow website, say you want to get signed up with the Grow strategist, and they'll give you a Calendly link, and then you can sign up for a time that works for you to talk to someone from our team.
Yeah. Okay. One question is like, how much time do the lessons take for both Grow kids and Grow students? Which is, I would love to actually hear what our Grow strategists have to say in the chats as well. If you guys are watching if you're watching live and reading the comments, but in general, we give you probably more content than you actually need because we want you to be able to customize and delete things that you don't need. We'd never want to leave you with like too little content. So just always keep in mind with our lessons, they're meant to be customizable. We give you that lesson builder so you can delete things, move things around, do whatever you want. So for the kids' lessons, that is meant to give you an entire service. So I think that's like we plan for about 90 minutes, but there are places where you can like stretch and shrink as needed. So for example, if there's like an activity built in, and this principle would apply to students as well. If there's an activity built in, like we might tell you just do one round if you don't have a lot of time, or if you want to spend more time, do more rounds and like get more kids involved. So you can kind of like expand and contract different modules, like the different building blocks as you want to. We also have folks who stretch the lessons that we give over 2 services, because if you want to like expand like every module that we give you, you can really expand it to do multiple services. And so that's also true with students. We have folks who use those across 2 services a week. They might do like a Sunday morning and then also a Wednesday night service, and they'll still use Grow for both of those. We actually have a blog post on our website that is live. I don't remember exactly what it's called right now, but it teaches you how to expand that across 2 services if you want to. But like in the student section, an easy thing to kind of strip out if it's too much content is we typically always start with some kind of game or activity. And that is meant like if you don't already have a game time scheduled in your service, this is kind of built in. But if you already do games and you're like, I don't need to do another game, just like chop it off. So there's lots of ways that you can like customize it.
All right. And there was a question here about the support pages. Jackie, thanks for asking. I'll look into that because we are not intending to get rid of the little support section that we had with all the different issues and stuff where you can follow up and leave comments and all of that. So I will make sure that the support forum is active. If we didn't link to it in the new dashboard design, I'll make sure that we get a link to it so that we can make sure that everyone has access. So yeah, we have not only like you can chat with us right on the website, you can email us, you can do a Zoom call with us. We have a support forum as well where you can ask questions and get responses, and we can follow up with you there if stuff is like something that's not going to happen immediately, but over time, and we can have our like follow up in the support forum. So yeah, awesome. Thanks for bringing that up, Jackie.
Awesome. Okay, so this is kind of like a more ministry meta question than like a grow question, but that's okay. Let's try it. Somebody's wanting to know how to build like a team of small group leaders. I think from like you don't have small group leaders yet and you need some. That is an excellent question. We could probably talk about that for an additional hour, which we probably shouldn't do today. But a couple things that I will tell you about inside of Grow that can help you with this is we have, so like if you think about kind of the very beginning of like recruiting volunteers to then training them to then retaining them, that's really what our volunteer strategy is set up to do. So the very first thing that I would recommend is opening up that volunteer handbook that we give you and getting familiar with it, making edits to it if you would like to, because inside that volunteer handbook, we actually have job descriptions like pre-written for you for different types of volunteers, including small group leaders. So if that's a new volunteer role for you that you've not had before, this is going to lay out what it looks like to be a small group leader. There's also in the back of that handbook kind of like a commitment form that's like, these are the things I won't do as a small group leader. These are the things I will do, what I will commit to. And so all of those pieces are in there. And this handbook is literally what we used in our ministry when we were like, okay, our small group leaders are a little checked out. They're not showing up. They're kind of running rogue. So we need to like get these people back on track. So this is what we did. We made a handbook. We sat down, we walked with them through all of it. We've also made you a one-on-one conversation guide that is specifically for new volunteers. So it's there to help you kind of vet people who want to be small group leaders to figure out if they're going to be the right fit for you or not. So I would use that. And there's also a really handy resource in the volunteer tool section called volunteer goals. But really like they could be called small group leader goals because they're really targeted toward the kind of volunteer who is doing like one-on-one or like, with a group types of ministry. So check those out. Those are going to be very useful tools for you.
Yes. And I want to jump in. There were people asking a couple of different questions here and they all kind of lead to the same thing. So the one Jasmine just asked, can you edit the volunteer handbook? And so the answer to that is yes. Everything inside of Grow is editable, or like everything that we possibly could make editable is editable.
You can't edit the videos, but I mean, you could if you know how to edit videos, I guess. But
the handbook is weird because like it's editable in a Word doc, and like Word doesn't always translate easily. So it might have like weird formatting sometimes on different like operating systems or platforms.
If you can use Photoshop or like bribe somebody who knows how to use Photoshop, that's the best place to update the handbook if you can, just because it's like a very like designed resource. We want it to look good so that your volunteers like read it. But it does make it hard to edit.
And then somebody asked, they're trying to start a youth group from scratch. You didn't talk about this yet, did you? So kind of like the small group question we were just talking about, starting like a ministry from scratch. Oh, that's amazing. Like, congratulations. That's awesome that like, you're doing this. That's like a really cool thing to be doing. And Grow definitely can help with that. And I would say like one of the things I would recommend to any new Grow user or anybody that's trying to start a ministry from scratch is don't feel like you have to do everything all at once.
Ease
like,
into it.
We provide all of these resources and it's so much for you to think about. Like if you were just starting from scratch, it would be overwhelming to try to do everything. I would just focus on one area at a time or just like little pieces from each area. So like think about, okay, you need to build a volunteer team probably, right? Or if you want to start there, maybe you don't have enough kids. You're like, I don't even need volunteers. I just have like a handful of kids. It's going to be me. Okay, then I would start with the discipleship strategy. I would look at that and think about, okay, how do I want to disciple kids throughout the year? Then I would look at the teaching strategy and think about, okay, what do I want to teach these kids throughout the year? And like, you don't have to do every single thing in the discipleship strategy. You don't have to do everything in the teaching strategy. You could take like one thing from the family strategy or maybe do one event this year, like slowly ease into it, and then as you get more experience, as things start to run a little more smoothly, then you can start pulling more things from all the different areas. Like we provide so much that if you were like a giant church running this huge program, you can use everything. But if you're by yourself, like it's probably going to be hard to use every single thing. But we want you to be able to see it, to envision it, and then to make decisions on like, okay, I'm going to do this part now. And then maybe next year I can implement another event, or I could do the small group leader parent breakfast next year. Like this year, I just need to start small groups. Like that's the goal for this year. And then next year, I'm going to add on these other things. So don't let it overwhelm you. And like, that's another reason why doing a Zoom call with one of our growth strategists will be really helpful, because they could help walk you through how to like prioritize which things to start with and maybe which things to wait on, and to help you feel like you're making some momentum in your ministry.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Okay, so somebody is asking, okay, I'll explain a little context. So back several years ago, we were making a bunch of videos, just like free ministry training videos. So we did things like what to do when your attendance drops, or we did like, how to like train and retain volunteers and like all this stuff. And so somebody, was it Renee? I think it was Renee. Renee was like, I liked those videos. I would like more of those videos. Will you make more of those videos? And the answer is yes, we will make more of those. What we're doing right now is we just launched / relaunched our blog, where we have a ton of like really good content that we're putting up on the blog. And one of the things that we're going to be doing is actually taking some of those blog posts and turning them into videos. It is definitely on the horizon for like the next year to be thinking about new videos that we're making. We're also relaunching our podcast. We're going to have some more stuff coming your way with that route as well. And I think those are going to be video based, aren't they?
Yep.
Video
yeah.
podcast?
So the Youth Ministry Answers podcast, the Kids Ministry Answers podcast will be coming back this year.
And a new
which we're
podcast
really excited
called
about.
Ministry Helpline that I'm so jazzed
that
about.
will be fun. Some other questions people are asking about, like, can I get this video afterwards? Can I get the slideshow that you had before? Can I get the ministry assessment? All of it is going to be on growcurriculum.org/SOS. So save or steal our strategy. So if you go there, growcurriculum.org/SOS, you'll be able to get everything. The slideshow we're going to put up afterwards, the ministry assessment, and the video will all be available there. So that'll be like your little landing page for this event to get everything you need.
Love it. Somebody wants to know what is new that is only available in volume 8. So we don't have any like major like new features in Grow like we did last year. We added a ton of stuff last year with volume 7. But all of like the teaching content, all of the discipleship activities, all of the environment themes, all of the volunteer and parent like graphics and resources and all of that stuff have all been like redesigned and like improved upon. So there's not like major brand new features other than those kids elementary teaching videos that we talked about. But all of the content is brand new.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a huge one is the videos, brand new elementary teaching videos. That's super exciting.
And the devotionals and students.
We've just refined. So what we're doing is like, we don't necessarily want to add new things just for the sake of adding new things. We want to refine everything and make it better every year. So, I mean, everything is getting better. And like, sometimes we do add new features to certain things, or sometimes we'll pull things away if like we know that no one is using them and they're just like clutter. So we want to create like the easiest experience for you that will help you be most effective in your ministry.
Oh, one thing that, I mean, it's not like brand new, like today, we've kind of been like easing into it, but we have the Grow print shop is up and running now. So the way that works is you can purchase like different things, like people like to buy posters or stickers or magnets, like things that go along with the teaching series. You can also buy like t-shirts and stuff too, right?
Flyers, t-shirts. If you want to do like t-shirts for a series, or flyers for an event, or posters for a spiritual habit, or whatever you want to do, that's on the print shop. I mean, we've had printing solutions before. But yeah, I mean, we're always thinking about what's going to make the curriculum the best in each of the 7 areas. And some years we add new things based on feedback, and some years we just make the things that currently are there like better and like refine
One like little thing that feels like kind of a big thing is you actually saw it when we were looking at the teaching guide already, but we added so in the past, like when you would open one of the teaching guides, it would just say the big idea and then the Bible at the top. But sometimes it was like hard to know just by looking at it what the connection was between the big idea and the Bible, and we without reading the whole lesson, which we totally got. So we added a new box, and it's at the top of every teaching guide and every like small group guide, and it's just a box that like explains to you what the week is about, so that when your volunteers or even you pick it up for the first time, it's like super easy. Okay, now I understand where I'm going with this lesson. I don't have to read the whole thing in order to get the point. So it's like a little thing, but kind of a big thing.
And Kelly mentioned too, we are adding Cali books. So every single series, we are making a Cali Worlds book.
That is for preschoolers.
Yeah.
Callie's World is our preschool teaching video. Callie is a puppet. She is so cute. She has a best friend named Joe, who's a goldfish. And now there's going to be books that go along with every
those
video.
are in the works. We will probably start to have those up by the fall. Well, probably like midsummer. So we're like right now designing those, and we're going to put them up for sale. And, you know, everything we do, we try to price as effectively as possible. So like, we're going to try to make them as affordable as possible. So you can get multiple for your ministry. We have to distribute them through like Amazon, which is like we can't distribute, we don't have like a warehouse or anything.
Jeff Bezos doesn't let us sell them for free.
So we can't, so there are restrictions on how low we can go on the pricing sometimes, but we try to make everything as affordable as possible. And we're really excited about those books.
Yeah. Those are gonna be
thanks to Ruel and Jason and everyone working on those things.
So good. There was a question.
People asked, are the strategy calls included in the subscription? And yep, like doing Zoom calls with our team is free for anybody. So
you don't even need
whether you're a Grow subscriber or you're thinking about using Grow, or you already know you don't want to use Grow, but you just want to talk ministry, we are here to help. Like, we want to make the Grow strategist available to you.
Yes.
So another new thing in the curriculum too is Grow Kids Music. We're going to be adding that this year. That's really exciting. And we're actually, there is something, I mean, it's not specific to the curriculum, but it's a cool little add-on software, which is the Grow strategy board, like the digital strategy board.
I forgot about it.
So we've like mentioned it in the past.
Is it live now?
I
want to play with it.
It is actually live for testing, but I'm going to give it some feedback. We're going to have it out over the summer. But it's a digital planning board. So you can drag and drop all your cards. You can load up a volume of Grow on there. You can create your own from scratch. You can use it for anything you want, not even ministry related. It's like a cool little digital creative board software. So, and like all of the softwares inside of Grow, we have like things like Grow Hubs, which is a communication platform for volunteers and parents, Grow Slides, which is a cloud-based presentation app that you can use with like Apple TV or Roku or Amazon. All of the softwares that we create are bundled for free inside of Grow curriculum. So you get access to all those for free. The only one that's not free for Grow users right now is our church database management tool called Grow Numbers. And at some point that's getting upgraded. We've been working on it for a while. We're finally able to put some attention back to it. But we're going to be launching a new church database and like attendance tracking software soon too. So trying to create the stuff that people need and are looking for, and make like useful softwares, not only content for people. So we love creating fun stuff.
Somebody said,
we have Peter Drew in the comments.
Drew?
Peter, what's up?
Hi,
Hope you're
buddy.
doing good. There he is. What's
up? Peter, did you cold plunge today? I hope so. Peter is on a streak of cold plunging every day, which is special. Also, Peter is one of our volunteers in our ministry back in the day, and was youth
worked for stuff you can use,
and worked for stuff you can use. And lived in our basement.
That's right. Peter Drew got the full experience. He got the full Campbell. I don't know if anyone has had as full of a Campbell experience as Peter Drew.
Wow. Wow. That is very funny. Kenny, are you a minimalist? You always wear the same outfit.
I am a minimalist when it comes to my wardrobe. And I try to be in other areas, but I just do love being an early adopter as well. So I'm like a minimalist that also is constantly buying new like tech things. So like I just got the new iPad this week. I'm super excited.
So you
about
don't
that.
buy new clothes,
Actually,
so
here
you
it
can
is.
buy
The new M4 iPad Pro. So I'm always I'm a minimalist when it comes to clothes.
Guys, the inside of his closet, it looks crazy. It's just like
and always rocking the Bills hat. I know. I always got the Bills hat on.
Oh my goodness.
That's how it goes.
Okay, there was another question. Somebody said, hey, Grow seems great, but I'm in a small church and don't have any money for this. What do you want to say to those people, Kenny?
Money will never be the barrier between you using Grow curriculum.
If it is, it's only because you let it be.
Yeah, that's right. We will meet you at whatever budget. So, our chat people, our sales people, whatever, they might try to negotiate with you, which obviously we want them to. But at the end of the day, whatever your budget is, like we will meet you at your budget. And we have given Grow free to churches before that needed it. But we'll always try to work something out. If you can only do 50% of the cost, we'll work with you on that. If you can only do like a different kind of payment plan, sometimes people need like a monthly payment plan instead of an annual or something, we'll work with you on that. So let us know what you need. We just want to be helpful to churches. We want to get Grow in as many people's hands that want it so that we can help church leaders be effective in their ministry. Someone
Just
also
come
asked, what's the difference between stuff you can use and Grow curriculum? So here's the answer. Stuff you can use is kind of like the parent company. That was the company that Elle and I started like back like 12 years ago. And then Grow curriculum is our core product. So Grow is a product of stuff you can use. And Grow at this point has kind of been our main focus. It is like the main product that we have. And so we're mostly known now as like Grow curriculum, probably more than we are known as stuff you can use. But yeah, that's how it works. Stuff you can use, parent company, Grow curriculum, the main product.
That's right. Good answer, Kenny. But you'll start seeing more things from stuff you can use. Like we mentioned, the podcasts are coming back. Those are like youth ministry answers and kids ministry answers by stuff you can use. There's going to be some books coming out that are like ministry training books at some point. Those will be published by stuff you can use.
We got the stuff you can use Facebook groups. I mean, stuff you can use is out and about. All right, let's see. Any other questions?
Linda wants to know if we're donating organs to make these discounts for churches work, and we will not disclose that information.
Not at this time. I mean, sometime in the future.
You did sell plasma at one point.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when I was going to Liberty University back in the day.
Back in the day.
Selling plasma on the
weekends. What a life. It's a weird life. Let's see. Any other questions?
That might be it. Will the music videos be included in Grow slides? We will figure that out. The videos, I mean, you can always easily add videos to Grow slides. Can you pre-populate them? We'll have to look at that. As we set up Grow Kids Music, we'll be adding more features and figuring out how to make it as useful for people as possible. But just the first thing is just giving you access to all of the music, all of the instrumentals, all of the videos, the dance, the lyric videos, all that stuff.
Somebody asked about the parent hub. So would you explain hubs?
Yeah, so hubs is also, slides, hubs, creative board, lesson builder. These are all softwares that we have, and they're all actually going to go through a little bit of a redesign over the next couple months. So you'll see some new features or just some like refined design around these things. But basically what Hubs is a communication platform. So it's kind of like, imagine like a Facebook feed that only you control. So only you, the church leader, can make posts, but then everyone else can respond to them. So like your volunteers or your parents, they can all leave comments on your posts, but we didn't want to give them full reign over making posts. We wanted it to be a communication platform that you control as the church leader. So it's kind of like a announcement feed. It also has a calendar, so you can put all of your lesson plans on your calendar, all of your events. Parents and volunteers can look at your calendar through Hubs. And then also it's like a messaging platform as far as groups and one-on-one messaging. And like the church leader has access to all of those messages, which is kind of like a safety feature. So if like, you can even have like students get on a hub, right? But you wouldn't want like weird private messages happening between volunteers or adults and students or kids. So that's why we make the messages like visible to the church, every single message that goes through Hubs. But it's a feed of announcements that you can make. It's a calendar and a messaging platform. So Hubs is really meant to be the place where volunteers and parents can come to see everything you're doing in your ministry. You can make announcements there, you can post your calendar items there, and you can have conversations there.
Here's a question, a practical question. Somebody wants to start using Grow in June. So what should they do? Should they start with V7? What should they do?
Yeah, well, I mean,
we don't recommend starting volume 8 until August.
Here's the thing.
So what's the deal?
You could start whenever you want. The thing about Grow is it's flexible to be started when you want. So if you want to start in June, I would say go ahead, buy it now, start in June. Like all of the resources for June are available. If there's anything in volume 8 that's not published today, it'll be published in the next like week or two. Like we're pretty much wrapped up with everything. Shout out to Kyle and everyone on the team did a phenomenal job this year, getting everything done and ready and on time, and like edited and reviewed and all that stuff. So all of the resources. And that's the other thing about Grow. We try to give you everything up front so you can plan your entire year and use it however you want. You can customize it. So if you want to start in June, go for it. I wouldn't stop you. I wouldn't recommend starting with volume 7. We do have like a 3-month pack that we sell that could hold you over. So it's just like 3 months of a series and some resources and stuff. But I mean, if I were you, I would just start teaching volume 8 in June, just like go for it. And then,
or do the free trial, because you get a free series through the free trial. That's like 1 bonus month. And
that's right. The free trial is a full month of teaching. So that's also a good holdover, but you can
talk
definitely
to a growth strategist also if you want to, and they can strategize.
If it's me, I'm just using volume 8 in June, but that's my answer.
Love it.
All right.
Okay, great. Let's see. I did have another question that I just lost. What was it? Oh yeah. Somebody wants to know how you get parents the things that you need to give to them without them having a Grow account. So, while Kenny is drinking. Parents and volunteers do not need accounts for Grow. There's a few different ways that we recommend sending things to them.
Unless they sign up for your hub. So if you have like a hub for parents or volunteers, then they're going to sign up for the hub and have like a hubs account through Grow.
If you want to use
hubs.
But
we do not recommend, or we don't even really allow like parents and volunteers, like at least like every church has a limit on how many users they can have in their account. But really what we recommend is like sending it. That's why we create volunteer emails and parent emails. So you can send the resources through email. You can send links through text messages if you want. You can use hubs as your communication source if you want, just to direct everyone to the hub. That way they always know, like, hey, if I need something, like that's like the best part about the hub, I think, is if you create a hub for parents or a hub for your volunteers, then you can just always give them that link and say, hey, go to the hub, go to the hub. So they never have to like be waiting on you to send them something. That's the nice part about hubs, is you can preload everything for the entire year. But I mean, really the best way to give them access is either through hubs or to email, text message, that kind of thing. Just the links to all of your resources.
Love it. And somebody wants to know, let's see, is there a way to publish Grow videos on YouTube in addition to Vimeo? We're having a hard time creating YouTube playlists.
Got it. Asking us to publish them on YouTube. So yes, we can do that. We will look into it. We chose Vimeo because of the extra like features they have. Like you can do like special, like just the way that you manage your videos through Vimeo gives you more freedom. But we can we'll have to try to create like private, because we don't want to make them public. Like we can't make all of the teaching videos public, which is another thing that Vimeo does really well. But I think we could probably password protect or figure out some kind of like private links on YouTube if that makes it easier for you guys. So yeah, like let us know if you guys ever have struggles, or if you're ever trying to problem solve something. We like consider what everyone says. Like right now I'm like trying to problem solve. I'm like, okay, how can we make these videos more
I have another one.
accessible
Do you want
to the
another on the spot problem solve?
Yeah.
Is there a way to make Grow slides easier for our teachers to access or edit?
So we are doing a whole redesign of Grow Slides, which is coming out soon. And so when you say easier, like once we do the redesign, let me know, like what can make it easier? Like where are the pain points? Where are your teachers struggling? And then we can either help give you the answers that maybe you're missing, or create an easier, more like friendly user experience for slides if it's a problem. So yeah, we will be definitely giving all the softwares a lot more attention this year. So like in the last year, we really were like focused on the curriculum product and making the new videos and like everything that we were focused on, like making volume 8 as amazing as possible. Now that we just wrapped that up and it's published, we're going to start focusing really hard on the software products and really improving those and the user experience there. So I'm really excited about the software stuff.
How does Slides, if it does, work with ProPresenter?
Good question. It's kind of like a ProPresenter alternative. So if you're using ProPresenter, we already provide you all of the slides in your downloads, like all of the JPEGs or the background slides. You can put text on them. So I used to use ProPresenter. I would just do that. Like if you're using ProPresenter, I would just use the stuff that we include in our downloads. Grow Slides was really meant for people that aren't tech savvy or maybe don't have access to ProPresenter. And we basically, it's like a cloud-based presentation software. So like ProPresenter is a presentation software. Grow Slides is a presentation software. There's really not an integration between the two right now.
Ooh, we have some feature requests for the Grow Habits app. Maybe we got to dive
Habits
back
app,
into
right?
that.
I know we haven't.
We've
I mean,
ignored it for a minute.
I know. Once we published it, we
I know.
kind of let it be. We are going to really focus in on our software stuff. What's the features they want for the Grow Habits app?
Daily push notifications to remind students to do the habits they're trying to build. By the way, if you don't know what the Habits app is we actually created this as one of our discipleship activities. I think in volume 6. I think it was volume 6.
Could be.
And we made a whole app just for free, so you can go get it if you want it. And basically it's just a simple like habit building app. We give you different ideas that's kind of categorized by the 4 spiritual habits, but you can also make your own habits. So if you're like, I want to remember to pray every morning and it's not in the pre-populated list, you can like write it down. Or I want to like text my small group once a week and like share something that God is like teaching me right now. You can build your own or pick from like our library of habits, and you can like make friends on the app with your small group or whatever you want to do. And there's one for kids and one for teenagers/grownups.
Yeah, and Cassandra just mentioned that you can make YouTube videos private with unlisted links. I know there was like a reason why we chose Vimeo over YouTube.
I know. I'm like trying to remember too.
But I'm gonna go back. I mean, we will definitely make an effort because I know like you're not the first person or whoever asked that originally talked about putting them on YouTube instead of Vimeo. So we'll look at that and find a way to make playlists on YouTube just to make the videos more accessible.
Was there something with the copyright? I feel like
YouTube, that's the other thing,
like
right? Yes, they're like copyright strikes. So we obviously don't use like copyrighted music, but a lot of the music we do use are in these libraries. Yeah, like these libraries that are like royalty free music. We have to purchase the licensing, and it's not always easy to like show YouTube that you have the licensing for the music that you're using. So they do like copyright strike the teaching videos. I think that was like a big reason why we chose Vimeo.
Yeah.
Is when we did like the private videos, we never had a problem with copyright. But we will give it a whirl. I'm going to go back and we're going to try to set it up with YouTube. Great. And then if we run into any problems, we'll try to figure out the copyright issue.
You're like Santa right now. Like, what?
Hey, I want to be Santa every day. This is what I'm here for. I want to help the church leaders be successful.
This is not a question. It's just a shout out. Trennan, hi Trennan. Trennan wants to give a shout out to the Grow Games and Icebreakers app. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes,
he said he recommends it all the time.
Grow Games and Icebreakers, guys. I was super excited when we launched it a few years ago, and then just in the last like few months, we've been going through and relooking at every game. We're in the process of editing every single game on there. There's hundreds of games. Like I think at one point there were 700 something. We might have pulled some back. I think it might now be like 500 or 600. We had some like
duplicates and weird stuff.
Well, there were some games too we looked at. We're like, I don't know if we actually back this game.
I don't think I like this game.
Yeah, maybe we liked it before, but now it's like a little iffy. But so we're going through it. So hundreds of games. There's game tools like scoreboards and stopwatches and like different types of like random name choosers and number choosers, like things that you might just use during games.
And icebreaker questions.
Icebreakers, yep. So you can hit like a randomized icebreaker and it'll give you discussion questions for your students. So the Games app, I highly recommend, and there's slides for every single game. So if you want to, like we have screen games, and even for the games that aren't screen games, we have like title slides.
The Grow Games app is free and the Grow Habits app is free also.
Guys, we just want to give stuff to you.
We just want to shower the free things upon you.
Hundreds of games for free. You should never buy another game again in your life.
No, you don't have to do that.
The Grow Games app has hundreds of games.
Including screen games. We give you graphics for them too.
That's right. We put a ton of effort into it, and the Habits app. And all of these, we're going to be like really improving this year. So we've neglected our softwares for a couple of years, and we're now going back to really spend some time with them. Maybe not neglected, but you know, they just weren't our primary focus.
They weren't on fire, so they were they were fine. When does volume 8 show up in the dashboard?
It shows up in the dashboard whenever your account renews to volume 8. So if you bought volume 7 in July, let's say you bought it on July 10th, then your account renews on July 10th, and that's when you get access to Grow Volume 8. If you want to move your renewal date up, you can do that right now. You can just start a chat on growcurriculum.org, or you can email us through the website. You can find a way to connect with our customer support, but they can move your renewal date up. So if you want to get Volume 8 today, just tell them move my renewal date up. You're going to get charged for it. So like it basically, whenever you pay your like annual subscription fee, that's when you get the next volume of Grow. So even though it's like published today, you get it when your account renews to it. So that's how the renewals work.
Somebody's requesting a pony. Can you give them a pony?
I do not have access to ponies.
Okay.
But
you could send them a JPEG. Of
maybe if we ever do like an in-person Grow conference or something.
Somebody was requesting that earlier.
Yeah, if people want ponies, we could get ponies there.
Wow, I'm
not making any promises.
I am highly allergic to all horses and like basically anything with dander. I'm allergic to everything, so I cannot participate in the pony party. But
I just saw an amazing TikTok of this girl who was like just riding horses with a group of friends, like on vacation or whatever, you know, they like rented horses or something. And hers just went crazy. It's like she's holding her phone and like just the horse is like sprinting away from everyone. Yeah. So I feel like that's what would happen to Elle if we got on ponies.
Yeah.
Hers would just sprint away.
And then I would have an asthma attack. Basically, I would be injured in multiple ways.
Renee's holding me to the pony promise. Well, if we ever have an in-person GrowCon and you request ponies, you're like, I'm going to be there. I want ponies. I will try to get ponies.
Joel's here.
Joel, pony party for Joel. Love it. Joel is our trainer. Checking out Grow, launch, steal our strategy, Joel.
I love it here. Ponies for Pastors is a cause I can get behind. Thank you, Bree. Okay, new product idea.
All right. Any other questions from the people? I'm going to scroll back to
somebody said, what's the scoreboard behind you? And then Danny followed it up by saying, yeah, who's winning?
Guys, I'll show you a little treat. I mean, you're here late. This is like, we're like an hour past.
This is the after party.
So you see this little arcade machine we got on the wall over here? This is basically like the guest book. Anyone who comes over to the house, we make them play Flappy Bird. Joel, the trainer, is on there. Everyone from our team that comes, we do like in-person meetings here. But so this is basically a leaderboard of everyone who's played Flappy Bird on our little arcade machine at our house. And so if you ever make it to our house as a guest, you'll get to play and get your score on the scoreboard. There's only 40 people on the physical scoreboard. So you have to beat the top 40, but everyone else is in the digital scoreboard.
And the reason Danny asked who's winning is because Danny is winning.
Yeah, Danny is number one in our own house.
We can't beat him. It's so annoying.
From the Stuff You Can Use team is number one. I didn't even try to beat him. I want him to be number one. If I tried to beat him, I think I could beat him.
Wow.
Do you use Playlister? We don't use Playlister, but basically Slides is like a free alternative to Playlister if you're a Grow subscriber. And it comes pre-populated with all of your Grow curriculum in it. And if you're not a Grow subscriber, you can use Slides for a monthly fee.
You guys are wild.
But we're going to keep making it better. And adding new features. So if there's anything from Playlister or any other software you use that you want in Grow Slides, let us know and we'll be happy to consider it and figure out how to make it as good as possible.
I'm just like really excited about the Creative Board app. I need that to be done.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
yesterday.
I know.
I'm so excited.
Now that, we've been focused on this launch for like the last couple of months, like getting all the curriculum and all the resources ready and like getting the new website and dashboards up and reviewed and stuff. Now we're really going to focus. Like I'm excited about getting the new Creative Board app out too.
Guys, like, you know what we're talking about with these creative boards, right? Like, you want to put the picture up again? Just so people can visualize. Listen, I use these boards constantly. I'm like looking at 4 boards right in front of me. I use them all the time. I use them for brainstorming, all sorts of things. I use them for planning what I'm going to do that week, like what I'm going to work on, what my tasks are. And I've only found one app that does this, that like allows you to kind of like create a board with different colored cards. But this app is so ugly and it's so clunky. And so for literally years, I've been like, can we just make an app that like lets me do this, lets me build this? And I'm just happy that we're going to have it.
These are like the physical versions of the boards that some Grow users have made that we grab pictures of. But we're going to make a digital version of this. So it'll all be color coded like this. You'll have the ability to customize your own boards, create your own boards from scratch. They don't have to be lined up like this. They could be, do
whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever you want. It'll be just like a blank canvas creative board and preloaded as well with Grow curriculum content if you want to just map out your stuff from Grow. So that's what we're working on, and
so many fun
I can't
projects.
wait to get it into your hands. But yeah, we love like brainstorming and creativity. So we're going to keep creating tools to help you guys be more creative and more effective and productive.
Yeah. All right. The questions are dying down. There's still people sitting on this video, though.
People wanted to know the Bills record.
Okay. People just want to hang out now.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fine.
I'm going big. We're getting the number 1 seed this year. We need the number 1 seed. I want that bye week. We got to get Josh a Super Bowl, or else he might try to go somewhere else. I don't want Josh Allen, like in 2 years from now, to be thinking like, okay, what team is going to get him a Super Bowl? We
Can you
need
guys
to get a Super Bowl.
When we start talking about sports, can you see like my soul leave my body? Can you see
what
that?
else do you want to talk about? Hey, anyone play chess? I'm big into chess right now.
Oh
We
my
can play some
goodness
chess.
gracious.
Parent Hub coming soon. So guys, Parent Hub actually already exists. I'm like scrolling way back now in the questions.
Yeah, you are
but
going back.
Grow Hubs, you can create a hub for parents or for volunteers or for anything. So Parent Hub does exist, and we'll be refreshing all new tutorials and design and all that stuff.
Linda said, no, you hang up.
Yeah. I'm just looking back. Any other questions? that we
Somebody
can
wants to know
answer
if
for
we
the
plan to
people?
do any in-person trainings.
So sometimes growth strategists on our team will travel to different churches, or they'll travel to different conferences or like ministry network meetings and do trainings there. We don't have any plans at the moment to do an in-person like grow conference or in-person training. They're just like, so they take a ton of work and like so much time and effort and money to put those together. Like we much prefer like digital training like this because it's a lot easier and we can distribute it to thousands of people like in one day. But if you do want trainings, or you want to invite someone from our team to come to your local like network training, we are available to do that. So we can get people on a plane and into your hands.
Somebody wants to know if we have kids, Kenny.
No kids.
We don't
This
have
is
any
why we
kids.
can focus on stuff you can use.
We're
and
here to
grow
make curriculum for you.
That's right.
Our
children.
volume 8 is our 8th child. And
Yeah, exactly.
so the other thing I was going to say about like in-person things is what's interesting about the Stuff You Can Use team is we are fully remote. So like a lot of curriculum creators like might be centralized in like one, like their whole team is in one area. So they'll typically do like their conferences in like one area. We're everywhere. We don't have a centralized place except I guess our house with our Flappy Bird guest book.
That's right.
So we're all over the place.
Someone asked, when we refresh the hubs design, will old accounts still work? Yep, absolutely. Like when we refresh all of these softwares coming up this year, they're all going to, like all of the existing accounts will not be affected as far as like the status of them. They'll look better. They'll be organized better. Hopefully they'll be more user friendly, but your accounts will still work for sure. And they'll be free. Like that's the whole goal of Grow Curriculum, is to keep anyone who's a subscriber to the curriculum, give them access to all of these softwares for free. And then anyone who is not a Grow Curriculum subscriber, they can access them through like a monthly subscription. All right. Where are we based? And what denomination did we start creating out of? Gosh. Okay. So right now we're based in Charlotte. Grew up originally in Buffalo, New York.
That's the Bills hat.
Yep. The church that we met at in Elle's like home church was non-denominational, kind of lean Baptist.
Yeah.
I
think
grew
like
up
Southern Baptist roots, but
I grew up going to Assemblies of God church. So like very like Pentecostal. So that's kind of like my background. And then I worked at a non-denominational church for like 10 years, which was super fun. Led the middle school ministry there. So yeah, that's where we're based. And that's the denominations that we started creating out of.
But what's cool about like the Stuff You Can Use team is we're in like all the denominations, like the people who are like creating like resources, not only our team, but also the like contributors that we bring in. It is like a crazy diverse group of people from all sorts of different denominations, which is really fun because it's like, you know, one person might like write a thing that they think is obvious, but then people from like 2 or 3 other denominational backgrounds are like, we can't say that. Like, I don't agree with that. So it's really like fun and helpful to kind of figure out like, oh, these are the places that we don't agree. So how can we like create something that's going to work for all of our different contexts at the same time? It's a really fun little challenge, like genuinely fun. I love it.
And that's why we make everything customizable and editable. So like if you do have a denomination or you're in a denomination that has very specific beliefs around a certain topic, like we will always try to avoid the controversial stuff in the actual curriculum, but give you the opportunity to edit and add whatever stuff from your denomination you want to add to it. So we want to create something that's as usable for as many churches as possible, while still being like deep and rooted in scripture and like still tied to the core things. Right. There's so much, like 90% of everything everyone agrees on, right? Like we are all following the same reference material, which is the Bible. And then there's like certain areas where people have different conversations and discussions and like disagreements around. Those are the things that you can kind of edit into the curriculum if you want to put them in there.
Like even like baptism, there's so many just like little like small differences in like the ways different denominations talk about baptism, communion, like these things that we share, but the way we talk about them can just be so different. And it is
interesting. There's about, I think like 8,000 different churches currently using Grow. So, I mean, it is very usable, like probably hundreds of different denominations not only contribute, but use Grow in their churches. So it is a very useful like content and material. But yeah, we make it customizable so that you can always add or change or do whatever you want with it. Like we basically want to give it to you and let you run with it and use it however is most effective and useful for you and your context.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm having trouble understanding this question, but maybe you can make sense of it, Kenny. It says, is Hub a main app or is there a Grow app inside of just the website?
Yeah. Okay. So Grow Hubs actually does have an app. So there's an app for it. I know that we were developing it. I believe it's out there and people can use it. If not, it'll be coming soon. But it's definitely a web-based app. So if you go to your Grow user dashboard, if you're already a Grow user, you can access it right in there. There's a little tool section, and then you can start building your hub right from the Grow user dashboard. So it's included inside of your Grow dashboard directly. And I do believe, I'm not sure if there's a mobile app for it right now, but if there's
Hub's app is live.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you,
sorry.
Caitlin.
I need to know these things, but like
sometimes you forget. There's so many things.
We've like built things and then I've been meaning to go back to them and improve them. And I've been focused on the curriculum, but yes, the Grow Hubs app is live right now, and give us feedback because we are going to be really spending a lot of time on it this year and making it better. So, that's the deal with Grow Hubs. Hopefully that answered your question. It is an app and it does exist within the context of Grow, and all of the Grow curriculum comes preloaded if you are a subscriber.
Okay.
All right.
I think the questions are dying down.
2 hours in. We did an hour of presentation.
Nice.
We did an hour of Q&A. All of this will be available at growcurriculum.org/SOS, including the slideshow from the presentation.
Including this after party?
The whole video.
Okay, cool.
All right, you guys are amazing. We will see you later. You can hit us up in the chat. If you just go to the Grow Curriculum website, you can always chat with us. Growcurriculum.org. And, we encourage you to set up a Zoom call with someone from our team. We would love to talk to you and be a partner with your ministry. You guys are amazing. Get a free trial at growcurriculum.org. We hope you love it, and let us know if you don't, and we will continually try to improve it and make stuff that you guys like and want to use and is helpful to you. So you're amazing. And just another shout out to the rest of the team. There's so many people that have contributed and worked so hard and stayed up late nights. So thank you to everybody who has helped get Grow Volume 8 to the finish line. And we're excited. There's more stuff coming that we're so excited about. We won't stop making stuff for you guys. We love helping and being a partner to the church. Yeah, no matter what, we're not going to stop making stuff. Whether you like it or not, we're going to keep making things for you.
And giving things to you for free. Just deal with it.